There's an inheritance waiting. You see what I'm saying?
I know
So,
but look at
in
this.
that business sense, but the love was not gone, because even right now, as she's going through dementia, she wakes up every day and says, "Where's my husband?"
Right.
That is what I want. I don't want it to just be about the business.
not just a pass through the night. But no, Walter, I remember.
She'll wake up in the morning and be like, "Where's my husband?" And they have to remind her he's with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that, you know. And listen, it brings a tear to my eye, but it's a warm feeling, and that's something that I desire. That kind of bond, that's priceless.
Well, see, Walter, they built theirs on a different form of relationship than you got today. Remember back when they got married, was serious. They took it sincere, and they built on, and they fought through hard times. These young folks now can't stand nothing. The least wind blow, they run it. They run it. They run it. But see, but those that them old folks back in the day you talking about, they're like my granddaddy and all of them, and come along, they had a whole different era, and they had to fight, and they had to have a strong woman behind them. Otherwise, they couldn't have nothing. Even my wife today, right now, she's the CFO of our home, right? I've been places, man. I thought we were broke. You hear me? And I tell you what, let me give you for instance. We was in the trucking business. We got all these trucks, right? And we went to Baton Rouge to rest our trucks. When we got to Baton Rouge, my business, do my RP, it was like about $7,000 or $8,000, right? When I'm sitting there with $3,000, one, and when the hell we can get some more money, I'm down. This lady retching her purse. This God is retching her purse. I got you. She started selling out them hundreds, and I was probably because she knew how to save and stack back. Where I was spending, she was saving. You understand? Right. They know how to. That's why the book says, "He that finds a wife finds a good thing," but everybody ain't a damn wife.
Right.
Everybody
is not a wife.
That's not wife. You see what I'm talking about? Right. You know, somebody ain't built for that road. Even though they jump in it, you know, some people, believe it or not, if you ever get a chance to see the movie called Z, The Ant, everybody's born in the world with a purpose, and a lot of them is not born to be married. That sounds crazy, don't it?
Shay, right. Some people ain't born to be married. They not.
Some people ain't born to be, and they get into it and they make a wreck of it because that's not what they're here for.
Right.
I want to show you guys some more of this video because I think that it's gonna be.
I'm enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying it because that's the link. Come on, baby girl.
Yeah, but those two brothers, man, all they talking about is these two brothers is all crotch monsters. That's what my other elder called them. All he would talk about is sex. Come on, crotch monsters.
Let me just show how ridiculous it got. But there's a point I'm trying to make, right? Let's go.
I can't hear what it was going on, but unless you trying to go to a certain part of it. I don't hear anything, Genesis, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the middle of the video, but I'm about to get into that.
Yeah, because I can't hear you. Yeah. Do you have it muted or something?
I don't know, but I'm trying to see what.
Wait, can you hear the video?
I don't hear nothing.
We don't hear nothing. I was reading some of the subtitles, and homeboy saying like
okay, you can't hear it. Okay,
it's silent. Yeah.
Homeboy stuck on his lips and his fingers. That's a lot of problem. But when that joker failed to operate, then what your ass gonna do? Because there will come a time when old John ain't gonna stand to attention. Then what you gonna do?
He gonna swing low, sweet chariot. And
you'll just be swinging there, and you're trying to keep pissing on your feet, you know. So then what you gonna do?
Right.
If you build it on sex alone, when that time goes away, because it's like life, what are you gonna base it on then? What are you gonna base it on?
Can you hear it now?
What is that?
As a person with your business. So it's not just if you're with me, a person like me.
Oh, what is that?
Yeah, but
software engineer.
But listen, stop it, please. Please stop it. Monica.
Yep.
Right there, you said what you offer is if they got a business, you'll help them with their business. You just won't be messing with them. But that's not right. That's still not right. That's not right. That's not right.
So can you hear this now? Can you hear this?
I heard that part.
So I'm saying that they asked me, what do I bring to the table? I said, I'm a software engineer. What do you mean what I bring to the table? And then I have them saying it's not right, and I have other women say this is what's crazy. This is my cousin.
Right.
I love how is it not right? How is it not right? If you're with a guy and
because if he has a business, and you might help him, right? But they're talking about what are you bringing to the table for a relationship. So a relationship and you helping him with the business is like totally different because you'll be by your man and you'll do little things to help him. But what are you bringing as yourself to the table for a relationship? That's what you should have been answering.
Marriage is business. To me, marriage is a business.
It's a relationship.
Marriage is not like in my mind, marriage is business. It's not like I don't think of marriage as like, oh, we're just in love and we're just having children. No, that whole situation is a business. So
no, if you bring love and a relationship and you treat it as a business, that's not really truly anything. That is just that's nothing. I mean, y'all have nothing. Yeah, because if the business collapses, it's not.
But what about marriages that are like thriving, right? So they don't love the person they're married with. They get into these arranged marriages. They don't love that person, but they grow to love them. But they understand, right? Okay, and arranged marriages, they don't love that person. They get arranged to be married, and they don't love the person that they're married, but they be married for years. Way longer than we get married for love. So that's what I'm saying. But let's go. Let me shut up. Then what happens is the man comes, gives the family a dowry, and it's almost like they're buying the woman to be in a marriage with that person. Right? That's what African, Indian, most like countries are. We're the only ones that are basing our things off of love. That's why the divorce rates are so high. So to me, I'm like, okay, marriage is a business. It's not about love and everything. If you just base your thing all on love, that shit fades over time. You know what I'm saying? You might love a person when you're first with them, but over time you grow out of love with them. So what's holding the thing together then? It's
love still holds it together. You can't give up on that.
But what my mother had old saying, you're not in love, you're in lust. You're not in love, you're in lust, and it'll pass.
Right.
You understand? But like Walter, it's a difference between the love thing. And I understand you got people back in the day, I don't know if they're doing it now. They would come and they would marry somebody to stay in the country. Ain't no love involved. It's a business contract. So look at me, I'm gonna pay you X amount of money so we can get
married. They get their green card, it's over.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a wrap. You know what I mean? Yeah, I got a video to share too. This sister, she went in. It was the other day. It's interesting that this is coming up right now. So whenever you're done, DJ Genesis, if you want me to share, the sister really went in, and one of the things she said, there's no such thing as gold diggers, which I kind of disagree with, but she had some really hard, pertinent assessments in this video. So I might want to share that with you guys.
Yeah, please share it, because I'm confused about what. That's why I'm not married, because I don't believe in marrying for love. I believe that love fades, love goes up and down. Love is something that unless
could that come also from, you know what I'm saying, like the some of the, the your own experiences and failed relationships and stuff like that. Like, even though, I've had failed relationships.
I haven't had that many relationships. That's the thing.
All right. Yeah.
So let everybody else have their relationships. I'm like, okay, I've assessed. Maybe I'm like I'm outside analyzing this shit. I'm like, that don't exist. Like, y'all are basing your relationships off of something that's the reason why, because it's something that's fleeting. Love is fleeting. Love can you could love something 1 minute.
I think in old school relationships, there's always going to be like this ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? And love actually evolves. It doesn't start out with the with the flowers and and daggone sparkles and and explosions and stuff and all the emotionalism in the beginning. But very important part of that, which I believe is a part of our biological function.
It's actually
all chemicals and everything like that. That new love feels amazing, and when that new love seems to die out and dwindle out, people don't know what to do with themselves, and now we start seeing flaws, we start arguing, all of this stuff happens, and then it really doesn't evolve. Whereas, like when I'm talking about my grandparents, I've seen them go through I've seen them go through heights and lows, and the love seemed to continue to evolve into different things. But the romance,
was love or a sense of duty? Was it
anniversaries and right, and then looking at each other's children. I could still see days where my grandmother would look at my grandfather, even at 60 and 70 years old, and see the hearts and freaking sparks flying, but not every day. It was, but it evolved in a different way, and I think that we lose. We when we're so caught up in that first, that first experience, the dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin high, that when that disappears, then all of a sudden the whole ship breaks down. It sinks.
What bothers me is this: a person say, "I love you so much," that they want to kill you. What kind of shit is that? I'm just loving. I want to be with you, and I'll just kill you. What kind of love is that?
I agree.
If I can't have you, nobody else can.
That's that kind of madness.
Control. That's not love. That's
I've been through a few of them. I've been through a few of them, man. Well, when I was at the date, chick get mad, want to come and she want to key my car, break out a windshield.
Right.
Damn, baby.
Right, because it's a property issue. Right, it becomes a property issue, and so once they feel like they've lost you as property, then they want to destroy your property.
That's it. And people, and same thing about my man. I own you because you're married. You don't own me, nigga. You don't own me.
Right. I'm a grown ass man. And this is the choice. Yeah, it's a choice.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a choice on both sides. So
and people get caught up in that. When because I'm married don't mean you own me.
Right.
And I don't own you.
That's why I always tell women, do not tell me it's yours. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. I don't have those parts. Those are your parts.
When people start doing that, all that is mental manipulation.
Right.
Just get into your head to
try
to manipulate you in a certain way.
That's yours. You just sharing it with me.
And when a woman does that to a man, this is yours. All that is to manipulate you into binding you into, and this is the thing. That's where you get into witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? When you start having sex and saying certain things while you're having sex, all that stuff is binding you into a contract, a spiritual contract. Right. And so therefore you start to feel a certain way. You start to do things a certain way. That's why certain sex in the mirror, looking at the mirror while you're doing it, all these things are really like spiritual contracts that you're setting up with the person to where you doing it to the mirror and you saying, so whose is it? Whose is it? And she's looking at you in the mirror, she's screaming your name. And all this crazy.
Witchcraft.
that all that stuff is programmed into the body, into your mind, everybody, all that stuff people doing. They programming
I had to fall back like, yo, hold on. And don't call me daddy neither. I am not your father. You know what I'm saying?
Your daddy and stuff.
Y'all got me hurting. Who is it?
Yo, let's check this video out. I gotta share it here if you want to check this out.
Who's in it? Who vagina is it? Who is it?
It's yours, but I appreciate you.
It's yours, daddy. And all that stuff is being remembered in your mind.
Yo, you know that slogan? you know that slogan, you can't have your cake and eat it too? Do you know how it got switched up? You know what it says? What it really says is you can't have your Kate and Edith.
And they were two women. One was named
two
Kate,
different women.
and one was named Edith. You got it all twisted.
You can't have your cake and Edith. EDITH.
If I have a cake, I can eat my cake. But you can't have Kate and Edith.
Both women, you can't have them both. You got turned around.
So they didn't change it to cake and Edith.
Yeah,
right?
Ain't got to look at no cake. Right. If it's my damn cake, why can't I eat it?
Right. What the hell? All right. Okay, I'm gonna play this last part because I want you guys to hear this one part. And I'm gonna let you play yours real quick.
All right.
So let me go ahead and play it real quick. Go ahead. Hold on. Because I think that even women got it wrong, men got it wrong, all across the board.
Not me.
No, that's not what I said. What I'm saying is that like I offer when I'm with somebody, I offer way more to them. So therefore, they are willing to like.
What do you offer them?
I mean,
exactly
other than sex, okay? Because they really be just only wanting sex.
So men only only sex, DJ Genesis?
No, not just sex. They be wanting me to help them with their business and this and that. So it's like a whole thing.
No,
that's not what she said. She said that pussy is so far.
No, what I'm saying is that like other than like just sex and everything else, like I offer way more to a person than just my pussy.
What is that?
Well, if you are a business person, I'm able to do way more for you than just fuck you.
Okay, so what is that?
As a person with your business. So it's not just if you're with me, a person like me.
So what is that?
I'm a fucking software engineer, stupid nigga.
I fuck your software.
I can build your fucking business. Build your fucking business from scratch. I can like whatever you think of as a business.
Hey, listen, DJ,
I can do that shit, whatever.
Witch doctor, can you imagine a woman walking up to you saying, "Fuck your pussy, fuck your dick. I'm a software engineer."
Wow. Y'all niggas are stupid as fuck, bro.
They got you.
You think that's
they
like
got
a
you.
joke? Like ha ha ha. Like if I could like take your entire business, everything that whatever you could think of, and create it and make it happen. You think that's a joke?
Yeah, but what is that?
Most dudes, DJ Genesis, listen,
we don't care about that.
We do care about that. Let's say like me, right? Let's say I'm looking for a software engineer. I'm gonna look for a software engineer. But if I'm just talking to a woman casually, that's not what I'm looking for. If a man is just trying to holler at you, he ain't just necessarily looking for a software engineer. Now, if you mention that that's what you could do, maybe he might be, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe he might already got somebody.
That's why y'all niggas is behind, bro.
What do you mean?
That's why y'all niggas are behind in life. Because you're a pussy and what a bitch suck their dick and make you feel like.
Wait a minute, we was just talking about. Wait a minute, you missed it. Wait a minute, you missed
it. Legacy and having a right person. You understand? Like even like Motown. Do you know Motown? It was all mainly women that even ran that shit. Like, hello,
Monica.
Monica. Wait a minute, let me say this.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
Monica.
I hope to get to like the mic going. I don't know why they like blocking my mic. Go ahead. Let's go ahead. Let's see it.
Now they was trying to give you a jewel there. Like you got to listen to that, and maybe you need to work on yourself as a person because what you said was incorrect. Just like they said, they're not going out.
What's incorrect about what I'm saying? Okay, because that's crazy. Okay, let's go.
No, it's not crazy because when you go up to a man and they just want to have casual conversation with you, they're not looking for a software engineer. They're not looking for somebody to help them with their business. They're looking to somebody they can communicate with.
So they can fuck. They're not even looking for someone they can communicate with. No, they're not looking for someone.
Of course, men is always
somebody. So my thing.
But no, listen to this. Always, that's always on. That's all. But you got to listen to me. That's always on a man's mind, of course. But it's a way about going that route. You don't give it up. You got to get to know that person first. And if you feel because the women can take the wheel of every situation.
We got a city council meeting going on.
Because if you don't want to do it, you could be like, no.
Okay.
If that's what you feel, that's all they want to do, then you say no. But to me, in your mind, that's all you think is going on. That's all they want. They don't want nothing else. They ain't interested in me as a person. You never know that.
Oh my God. What do you think about what was just said just now? What do you think about that?
I think there's a point. What we're talking about is, let's get back to the root of marriage and stuff like that, or the root of courting, which is at base level, it is reproductive, right? And on top of that, there is between man and woman, you know what I'm saying, there is attraction, which is bound within the reproductive, you know what I'm saying. And but as men, you know what I'm saying, as human beings, men and women, who, you know what I'm saying, who, and especially in this day and age, it shouldn't just be all about sex. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I can see a girl who's attractive, but if her head ain't right, and you know what I'm saying, I don't even want to, I'm not even I could be physically attracted to her, but my physical attraction or my loins is not what rules over me. You know what I'm saying? And is this the type of woman that I want to court, you know what I'm saying, or be with? I think it's very important for me, you know what I'm saying. I like successful women. I've dated really successful women, and I'm not bragging. I just, you know what I'm saying, for some reason, you know what I'm saying, I've been in relationships with some very top tiered women in business and music and freaking, for instance, if y'all look back at Charleston Fashion Week, I actually created that, but it was her, you know what I'm saying, my girlfriend, who at the time I consider her, you know what I'm saying, like a what do you call it, like she was like a wife in a sense. I was with her for years. And so what do you call that when somebody's like they're not legally married, but they've been in
common law.
Yeah, she was like my common
well, you know
law.
that Trump just changed the common law.
Yeah. And we had, and there was a sense of well-being and like I don't know, I was a little cocky because I had one of the top chicks, and you know what I'm saying, so yeah, she was amazing, you know what I'm saying, and we did build each other's business. I had my martial arts school, and she had the fashion thing, and I, you know what I'm saying, fueled into her fashion thing, and she fueled into my martial arts identity and everything in the community. And we were very well known in Charleston, South Carolina. And in fact, freaking, if it wasn't for us together, I considered, like, we didn't have any children together, but Charleston Fashion Week is a multi-million-dollar, you know what I'm saying, multi-million-dollar event today in Charleston. And that's our baby. We created that. We put that together. So I'm kind of used to, you know what I'm saying, not that I wouldn't date a girl who's just, starting, you know what I'm saying, or, depending on the level of love and commitment and honor and respect, you know what I'm saying, loyalty, you know what I'm saying, doesn't really matter to that degree. But you know what I mean, it's to a degree, you know what I'm saying, I do look at things like that as a man. But that's why I want to share this other video, because it does get into that. What's up, Yasha? You know what I'm saying? Shalom. Yeah,
peace and blessings.
Blessings, love, brother.
Peace and blessings to you, Genesis.
Peace and blessings. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, no. After Yasha, go ahead, man. I was gonna share that video, but yeah, Yasha, you know what I'm saying. I know you got some knowledge for us.
Yeah, I got knowledge, and I'm just dropping it all in the chat. That's why I came up, because my hands are getting tired. But I just said what I had to say. If the show provides for me to speak, then I'll go forward. But hey, I'm just
no, that's why you're up here. I want you to speak. I want you to tell us, because maybe I'm wrong. My cousin said I was wrong, but me as a woman, like there's different archetypes of women. You have like the homemaker, you have the hoe, you have the in between, and you have like the businesswoman. So what does a businesswoman do that's primarily based in, like, success and this, that, the other? What do they do in this situation to where people are like, okay, well, no one cares about your success. No one cares about you being successful. It's only about what you can do for me or whatever. That I don't even exactly know exactly what they mean. And I didn't get to play the rest of that stream because I didn't want to like just play too much of it. But like
I was
really
getting
got
too
into
toxic.
it.
Though. I was getting too toxic. You know what I mean? I think that you got your point out with that. That was crazy.
Yeah.
You may be a diamond in the rough, right? You know, I mean, when you think of those diamonds in the rough, I mean, those diamonds are dirty diamonds. They look like rocks, and people treat them like rocks. You know, I mean, but I really can't tell a woman how to be a woman. You know, that's where good women, good womanhood and a good gynocracy come in at. But I know how to teach men how to be good men. You know, and I mean, I've succeeded to the men, with the men that I'm around, like my sons and my grandchildren and and my all of my little neighbors and all the guys around me. I try to teach them how to, be good men, and that's
Right.
that's the best that I can contribute,
Absolutely.
to this problem that we're having. You know what I'm saying? Because the reality is this. I mean, we all just haphazardly here. I mean, they little boys a lot of time the women teach them. At least when I was coming up, they taught them not to hit women and to respect women and stuff like this. But they never taught the girls how to be good women. You know what I mean? So we just behind the 8 ball period, and we just have to learn. How to get this thing right. I think that we know how to get it right. Well, I don't think we know. I think it's been recorded how we get it right. And it's been recorded in the annals of history, but then you have to take the elders who really care enough to keep that history going. The reality is that it's like biblical. I'm an Israelite, in thought and mind. And it kind of reminds me of the days of Hosea, when the whole nation has fallen to complete whoredom. When that happens, there is no laws, there is no rules. And then when the strong man comes up to try to present these laws and rules, he gets smacked down by the culture. I'm a rapper. I was one of those rappers that was talking that consciousness and this and that. And I got smacked down by your gangster rap and your Luke Skywalkers and your, hey, we want some Ussies and all of that type of stuff. They made it to where your conscious rap just was silliness almost. So it's like what Jesus said in the Bible. Mind you, that I'm not a New Testament person, and I don't even believe that Jesus even existed. But for the sake of the story, in order to come into the house, you must bind the strong man. And that's what the problem is. The black man is the blame of all the troubles. I've heard black women say you didn't protect us and this and that. But the reality is the strong man has been binded. He has been bound. And we have to learn how to find a way to the head of the household. If he's the man, we have to find a way to unbind that man so we can get our household in order and get our family in order. And then we can raise our children how to be husbands, wives, and just productive citizens. And that's something that we have failed at as a black race. I mean, if you look up the statistics of the dysfunctional families, we way up there, like pushing 80%. So it's just one of those things. I'm just going to be quiet because I can go and go and go and go.
Oh no, don't be quiet. But I'm gonna let Zion play this video but no, you're making really good points. And I really want to like understand, like even on my point when I'm saying, because at some point I said this is the reason why you guys are behind. But let him go ahead and play this.
That is a made-up term by incels. An incel is a person who is involuntarily celibate. And if you're a celibate involuntarily and nobody wants to sleep with you, so every animal in the animal kingdom goes through a vetting process that proves that they are worthy of getting their bloodline extended, right? If you watch birds and stuff, birds like get together and they do this little Dougie. That's a mating dance, y'all. They're showing their wingspan and their strength, and they're showing that if you reproduce with me, your child will have good, if not better, genetics. You will be putting your child in a better position. Y'all, all animals have this vetting process. Humans have this process, right? If we didn't, we would still be prokaryotes or fish or mermaids or wherever the hell we came from. I don't know, don't care. But the reason why we've gotten bigger, faster, stronger over the years is because there's a selection process that takes place. Now, unfortunately, with the introduction of accumulation together societies out there that are thriving and happy, but the patriarchy,
go back,
right?
I'm sorry, go back because it got
colonization, supremacy, all these things caused a power imbalance.
Rewind it,
right? And it
hello
place now, unfortunately.
To what part? Where do you want me to run to? Just a little bit back.
The birds and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, when it's talking about, you know, the mating, the vetting process.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
Showing that if you reproduce with me, your child. So every animal in the animal kingdom goes through a vetting process that proves that they are worthy of getting their bloodline extended, right? If you watch birds and stuff, birds like get together and they do this little Dougie. That's a mating dance, y'all. They're showing their wingspan and their strength, and they're showing that if you reproduce with me, your child will have good, if not better, genetics. You will be putting your child in a better position. Y'all, all animals have this vetting process. Humans have this process, right? If we didn't, we would still be prokaryotes or fish or mermaids or wherever the hell we came from. I don't know, don't care. But the reason why we've gotten bigger, faster, stronger over the years is because there's a selection process that takes place. Now, unfortunately, with the introduction of accumulation of resources, that changed, because it used to be that a man had to prove that he could hunt, right? He had to prove that he could provide. He had to prove that he was stronger. He had to prove that he could fight to get his bloodline extended. The Industrial Revolution happened. Technology was introduced. Obviously, there's still hunter-gatherer societies out there that are thriving and happy, but the patriarchy, right? The colonization, supremacy, all these things caused a power imbalance, right? And it made it to where people were not being judged on their own merit. Instead, they were being judged on their accumulation of resources. And although that's unfortunate, that's still now a part of our vetting process. So people, you know, again, once inequalities begin to take place, people begin to accumulate masses of resources. And that became the standard, right? People who could accumulate resources were able to buy women. Obviously, women didn't have their rights back then. They didn't get to choose, but they were able to be purchased. They were able to be traded like cattle. And so that might have thrown a few things off. Just looking at where we are now, who knows the price we paid for those inequalities? Because again, people are not being judged simply on their social merit, their social skills, their physical genetics. Is now like a person who goes and who went, should I say, and slaughtered up a whole, you know, group of people and took their land, now has the resources to be able to purchase a wife, as opposed to a person earning a wife based on their ability to hunt and, you know, be charming and, you know, and woo the ladies. But needless to say, there will always be a vetting process that takes place for women to decide whose bloodline are they going to extend. Again, if you should be able to learn social skills up to a point where a woman will want to sleep with you. It does not take much, okay? Because women have very high drives, just like men do. They want to. However, women are wired to be more selective because we are responsible for carrying the bloodline. We are responsible for birthing it. Therefore, there has to be a process to take place. It just has to. So yeah, y'all might say that y'all are hardwired for just, you know, being visual and sleeping with anything and everything and spreading your seed. And although that's disgusting, and I think that's very primal, right? That's cool. I'll give you that, right? I do think a man who is spiritual in nature will be able to override his primal instincts, just like I'm spiritual in nature. And I don't go around picking everything under the sun when I'm ovulating. I get somewhere and sit down, okay? Because I know what I want for myself energetically and spiritually, right? So I get that y'all are wired that way. I just want to be clear, though, that I'm not excusing it because, you know, human beings, we're conscious beings. That's what separates us from being animals, that we have consciousness. So that means that you should be able to tap into your consciousness and control your physical urges. But needless to say, what I am saying is a vetting process always does take place. So for us now, what that looks like is a person who has good genetics or genetics worth passing on, whether that be how you look or you going to the gym or you know what I'm saying, being ambitious, because ambition is a trait that you would want your kids to have. So those are the things that make men attractive. Being able to accumulate resources is not everything, but it does tell you a lot, right? A man who is enterprising, a man who is a critical thinker, a man who can think on his feet, a man who is both street smart and can flow in a corporate setting. Those are the type of genetics that you will want. That's the type of, you want smart kids to have those same qualities. So those are the men who are getting all the coochie. Whether they're faithful or not, whether they have 1 woman or 20, those are the men women will want. Why? Because they want better genetics for their offspring at a subconscious level, whether women know it or not.
Nope. The men that's getting on the coochie are the men that look that look a certain way and that look strongest and that appear a certain way.
Yeah, but that's not always
that are
true.
Mentally a certain way, but that look a certain way.
It's not always true.
I agree with that in a sense because, like say fashion for instance, I'm an older man and I have to dress with a modern fashion and I'm old fashioned in a sense, and you have to look a certain type of way to just be attractive, it's crazy, I'm thinking about when I was going through school, if you dressed it a certain type of way and you looked at a certain type of way, and mind you, I stay fly than a son of a gun. You hear me? To this date. And I'm a witness that if you look and dress a certain type of way, you will be attractive to somebody, to some woman.
Mm-hmm. And that's like having your little feathers out. Like
you're flamingoing.
Yeah. You got your little flamingo on, you know what I'm saying? So whatever she's saying is a part of it that's right, but there's a part of it is bull stuff. Because
no, I said that, but here's the deal: like it depends on what you're trying to attract. Now, if I want to attract a hood booger, I'm gonna dress with freaking Nike sneakers and tight jeans, and I'm not into that. I don't want that. I don't want the girl with the freaking weave and the freaking daggone long ass eyelashes. I like the girls with the dreadlocks. We said this before. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Queen Ty. She's a lovely woman and she's attracted to my vibe. I'm attracted to her vibe. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? But that's what I dress my part for the kind of birds. I'd say birds.
Birds. Oh, not birds.
The kind of lionesses that I want to attract birds.
Is you flamingoing for the chickens, man?
If I wanted to attract birds, I would peacock, but I'm a lion, so I wear my lion's mane. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? But at the same time, too, I could throw on a suit and tie. I don't have to go out. I get a lot of attention, and and I smile back and the whole nine. But I know that every girl that smiles at me is not my forte. I might have a conversation with them and just see where their head's at. And if they thugging too much, then you know what I'm saying. But I don't have to. I really don't get the attention because of how I dress. It's just how I talk, how I carry myself. I smile. I'm kind. I can be a little, you know what I'm saying, a little charming, you know what I'm saying, and very, very, I like to make people comfortable, you know what I'm saying. So even when I'm talking to a female, regardless, like I tattoo women all the time, and I'm very sterile, you know what I'm saying, in my behavior because I think of myself as when I do tattoo. I haven't tattooed in a while since I've gotten more religious. I kind of cut that out, but every now and again, I get somebody who wants to do tattoos. Tell them I don't do freaking tattoos for the dead or nothing like that. But a lot of women, they're attracted to me because I'm not, you know what I'm saying, flirting, overly, flirtatious, overly sexual. I don't throw sexual in. They feel comfortable with me because I might be even in my head, I'm like, yo, oh my God, this girl is bad. But I won't show that. You know what I'm saying? I'll treat her like she's a, you know what I'm saying, lovely lady and chill and make her comfortable, because what if she wants me to tattoo her, her areas that are private, right? You know what I'm saying? She doesn't want no dude over here drooling and freaking looking all crazy at her. You know what I'm saying? And that makes a woman uncomfortable. But when women are comfortable enough to say, you know what I'm saying, I want something on my cheek, you know what I'm saying? They come to Zion. And then when they leave, they're like, "Yo, here's my number, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Okay, you know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. Next time you want to, you know what I'm saying, another tattoo, let me know, whatever." But
I'm gonna tell you about that shirt
pretty
and
much,
tie game too, though. You
huh?
know, I mean, I'm gonna tell you about that shirt and tie game too, though, man.
Yeah, it's
You wearing them cheap shirts and them cheap ties. You know, you wonder about the women you attract. You know, if you wearing them good boys, you know what I'm
yeah, no,
saying. I
I'll stay
mean,
within the $300 range. I'm
yeah,
not.
you know, then you gonna see the type of women that you're gonna attract.
I ain't no freaking $50 buck 50 suit nigga neither.
So listen,
Buck 50 head to toe.
I want to really get you guys' honest opinion about the things that I said in this, because it's one thing from a man's point of view of what they are saying, but me as a woman, right? So there's different women that are out here that are not necessarily like the most sexually attractive, like not attractive, but like like on that level, like when it comes, but they give something to offer. So let's finish this thing, because I got kind of like my A handed to me by other women. I want to like know if you guys feel like it's the same thing, the truth as well. So let's go. Do you
But
hear
you
what
gotta
this guy
say
is
no.
saying this whole time? Listen, they're saying like they don't give a fuck about who I am as a person. All they're caring about is sex, right? Oh, I'm gonna put my big old belly on top of your back of your thing, and I'm gonna spit on your back and all this other stuff, right? So
Because that dude was capping. He was capping that whole time. And you could have shut that down immediately and said, listen, the way you talking, I ain't for that. Podcast or not. But you was capping right back with him. So it was a tit for tat. But they changed the subject altogether. And they went to, what would you bring to the table? What would you bring to a relationship?
right. So what I would bring to the relationship is my abilities and my. So maybe I don't bring that to the table when it comes to female stuff. Maybe I'm not that feminine. So maybe that's what the issue is. I'm not a very feminine.
It ain't about
I
being
can't be like,
feminine.
I can cook, or
it ain't about.
No, because the only option is, if I can't say I can bring something to your business, is I know how to cook, I know how to clean, I know how to wash laundry, I know how to do stuff around the house. Like, other than fucking, right? What else can you bring to the table to a man? Either you're fucking or you're cleaning up for him like a man.
No, you could bring companionship. Like you ain't never kick it with a dude. Like y'all just kick it. Like, I mean, y'all have a blast, laugh about stuff. Like, I mean, don't even talk about software engineer. Don't even talk about his business. Don't even talk about what you do, but only talk about like the.
Go ahead. What you're saying?
No, I'm saying it should be, like she's saying, there should be some type of chemistry there beyond all of that between y'all.
There should be. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm only what I can do. However, I feel like, what I'm capable of doing actually adds value to any household I become a part of. Because I feel like, it's one thing to just say, even if you're a nurse, you know what I'm saying? That means you're nurturing. I don't understand why one level of a female's ability is looked up upon, and then other abilities that might not necessarily be as feminine are looked down upon. Oh, you're a software engineer. Now, if I said I was a nurse and I could like heal you and do this, they wouldn't have had the same response, and I don't believe that they would. But because I said, yeah, that's a masculine thing.
Men are looking
So
at like,
in their
when they
mind, it's like,
start
oh
getting
no.
old and they start breaking down, you know what I'm saying? They want that woman that's going to rub their feet and, you know what I'm saying, rub their back and make sure that they got, you know what I'm saying, they take they medications, and you know what I'm saying, that's what that I mean. I think that would be naturally.
But don't you think that all women just naturally already know to do that? Come on now, that's
to a degree. No, not all. No.
So I'm like, I mean, it's obvious that well, maybe in my mind as a woman, that I'm getting past the obvious. Obviously, I could do all the other basic women nurturing things. I'm a woman. I'm a nurturer. I have children. I rub my children's backs. So of course I can rub my man's back and nurse him back to health. I do this for my own kids, so I know I can do it for a man. However, when people say, what can you bring to the table? I'm not thinking about the obvious. You understand?
Right. Well,
It's
because we're
obvious.
focused on the capitalistic mindset that we're in, this environment that you know what I'm saying, you bring to the table something that's going to help bring value to our financial stability as above to just, you know what I'm saying, the sacredness of the home as well. Now, I believe there should be always a balance. That's why I'm attracted to women who do have, you know what I'm saying, skill sets outside of, you know what I'm saying, cooking, cleaning, you know what I'm saying, and rubbing
Backing it up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, I'm not even thinking about that because I'm not hyperly sexual. I really, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's sacred to me. So I don't always talk about backing it up and doing all of that. And, you know what I'm
Yeah, it's
saying?
important. It's one of those important things.
Yeah,
Like,
I
but
like a
it's not
woman.
something. It's not something that we want thrown out there on the
Right.
forefront.
But
It's
you know
sacred.
what you know what I like? You know what I
It
love?
is sacred.
Right. You know what I'm more focused on is like when I come home from a hard day's work and dealing with freaking Mr. Charlie and stressed out, you know what I'm saying? I sit down, you know what I'm saying? She don't even I can cook myself, you know what I'm saying? So she don't gotta cook, but she come and, hey baby, how you doing? You all right? Start rubbing. There's a spot on the back of my head. She know where to touch and where to, you know what I'm saying, where to all the stress. I love that. You know, I'm not worried
But
about
my thing is, as a woman, of course I know how to do that. Of course I know how to do that. However, I also know how to do these other things that should be valued as well. And that's the part that I'm like, okay, why is it that the men, especially on this panel, felt a certain level of like, no, ha ha ha.
But let me point this out. Do you remember the show? What was it? It was with Queen Latifah. It was a TV series. Queen Latifah and a couple of other sisters. I forgot what it's called. It was something Girlfriends. Wasn't it Girlfriends?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The only reason I know about that is because my ex used to watch it a lot, and I had to watch it with her. But you know, there was that one dude. He was kind of effeminate. He was in a business role, and he got with that one chick. You know what I'm saying? The dark. She was fine as hell. You know what I'm saying? Dark skin chick. And she was all business. She really didn't care about anything besides his business and how much money he was making. You know what I'm saying? She herself. So, you know, when he would come in and he was looking for
living single.
It was living single. Thank you, Balance. Yes, living single. Right. So yeah, and living single, the dude freaking she gotta know exactly who I'm talking about. That one chick was all business and no, you know, the only time, you know what I'm saying, she wanted to quote unquote back it up is if this dude got a freaking raise or a promotion or, you know what I'm saying, got this new, you see what I'm saying, got a new job.
Hey, Ben, I'm not trying like to mute you. It's because there's a background, like a feedback going on. So when you're not talking, I'm just muting you. That's all.
Okay. So yeah,
so you know, unmute yourself. Go ahead.
And that, you know what I'm saying, that made her, as fine as she was on the outside, it made her ugly on the inside. And that's why they broke up in the show. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all remember it. I don't remember all of the details, but I remember that part because I was dating a very business-minded woman, you know what I'm saying, at the time. You know what I'm saying? And there were times where she was like that. But there were a lot of times where, you know what I'm saying, she was very, very affectionate and nurturing, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't as bad as that situation. But I can see why men would look at that situation like, well, if it's all business, then I might as well just pay you, you know what I'm saying, to fix my daggone computers and do this, that, and the other, and be an assistant, and then freaking daggone go home to the woman that's gonna rub my back.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest reasons why people have a hard time it deals with values. You know what I'm saying? Everybody have values, and everybody values are different. When we understand what we do to things that are valuable, and if you have these qualities, Genesis, you know, myself, I think I'm a valuable man. Okay. And I have these qualities. So I don't, it's like other men go throwing themselves around. I don't do that as a man simply because I understand that I have values. You know what I'm saying? So I think that people have values, you know, when you understand your values, you know, you understand what that is. You know, I like Baccarat 540. That's valuable. You understand what I'm saying? I like that. I don't sit around and just go squirting that around every goddamn where.
Right.
That's
Value
like
is
$400, $500 a bottle.
right, right.
You understand? That's valuable. I keep that.
Right,
And when you understand that you are that value,
right,
hey, if you have to just sit yourself on the shelf, sit on the shelf.
right.
You're that valuable.
Yeah,
Things
right,
that are not valuable are the things that just goes and
right,
toss and run itself around out here. When
right,
you spread and spin yourself around out here, that's all you're going to do is get played.
right.
And
Because
then
you're
you
making
cry
yourself cheap.
about the game.
Yeah,
You know
you're
what I'm
making
saying?
yourself cheap. You ain't the top bottle on the shelf. You a bottle of Ian. You a bottle of Oak Irk and Jerk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And niggas could pour half of that out for the homies. You know what I'm saying? We good.
Yeah.
Right. And see, here's the thing is that when you diminish a woman down to if she can cook, clean, and do the basics of a household, now you're talking about a indentured servant to me. I'm like, okay, so you just want me to just clean up your house,
Yeah, because he may not
mop,
value what
do
you
this,
have to
basic,
offer. What about I'm saying that you got all of that good spray over there? I don't know feminine spray, so I can't give a good example. But uh, 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 you're that good gold over there. You just don't. And when you know your value, you just don't go giving it away to people. I could tell you a story about when I was in the streets, just with your values. I still sell marijuana. I still have it. I'm sorry. That's what it is. When I sit up here and come with that cheap weed, it just goes. But that when I got that expensive bag, don't nobody want it because it has its value. And they respect it for what it is. They
Right,
ain't
right,
coming over here playing with that bag like that. They just not.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying? This bag, they ain't coming for that $20, $30 3 5. They
Right.
want them $10, and they play all with that, blow it
Yeah.
up, make big fat blunts with it. But when they come over here for that one, they ain't doing that. You got to know your value. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and give you my $30 3 5 for 10 on no day
Right, right,
because I
right.
know my
That
value of
jaw
my
weed.
product.
Right, that jaw weed got to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You can't just, you know what I mean, be
and
rolling mad L's with that.
I think that's what they were trying to tell me here is that me just being on the panel, even talking to people that don't value me is not a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Because I'm here arguing
Well,
with
I'll
people
tell you
and
this.
trying to get you
I'll
to
make
see my
I'll make your
point.
time worthwhile for your people. I value you for your sake of the conversation. When I first came to YouTube, it was not over Israelite talk. It was not over history or science or even debate. When I first came to YouTube, it was over relationship issues. You know what I'm saying? I saw that there was a problem in my race, when we dealing with relationships. Why is the black woman, she was back in the 60s and even as late as the 70s, she was the most beautiful thing on the planet. The Angela Davises and your Foxy Browns. I mean, she was an icon. And then she fell down to nothing. We lost value of that. We lost value of our women. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is all by design. So I came aware of that, and that's what brought me to YouTube originally. I stopped talking about that because this was before the red pill days. Then the red pill came. I got
Right.
thrusted into the red pill category. You probably was around during those times and probably remember some of that, Zion. Man,
Yeah,
I
that
kept
whole
that.
Kevin Samuel, all that stuff,
Yeah, I
and
was. Zion to tell you, I was out doing that stuff way before them guys.
Right, 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 right.
And I kept getting flagged and flagged and flagged. So then I just thrust over here, went over to the Israelite thing. You know what I'm saying? And, when I got to talking about the rights and wrongs within us as a people, making black men and black women take accountability for their part, man, I kept getting flagged, 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 flagged. So
Right, right.
I'm just glad to be up here, and I value you just for that, because that's why I'm over here on this up here, because that's what brought me to YouTube originally. And I just think that when you look at the dysfunctional family rate, it's all because black people have not been taught the proper way how to be good male and female families. We naturally knew how to do it, but there's a system, that has systematically, spent millions of dollars to break up the black family. Why? Because the black family will create a great black man. And rest in peace to Jamal Malcolm Warner. He knew who he was. I got it on video. And that's what happens, when they destroy, when you have a great black man and a leader of a family. That man walked around happy. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't understand why you niggas wasn't. He knew who he was.
Right. Spreading love. Yep.
Yeah. That's what they don't want. You understand? He like myself. I started out as one of the world's first gospel rappers. I ended up becoming a pioneer of some of the gangsters hip hop in Detroit. I'm one of the founders of the Cheddar Boys. You know that, don't you, Genesis? Detroit.
She might step away. Yeah, the Cheddar Boys.
She stepped off. Yeah, she know who we gave birth to Detroit hip hop, baby. It wouldn't be no Eminem and no 4-2 Doug or Sada Baby or Slum. It wouldn't be none of that. Fat Cat, Slum Village. It wouldn't be none of that if it wasn't for us. So it's a constantly taking away of the black man and the black power. I'll even go as far as talking about the record industry, how we have our own record labels. Man, we would sit up there and have these albums come in. We buy these albums by 1,000, like 5,000-10,000 albums. We probably paying maybe like 50 cents an album, selling these albums for $5, $10, $15 an album. And then the European came and took our power source away from us. He's constantly doing things to take away the power of black men. And I think that when the head of the house or the head of the race is bound, man, the whole race, the whole body is troubled. So we can't be sitting up here praising the destruction and the abuse of the black man, or the whole race will just go fall. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. I let my play. Surely that's the cause of all of the problems.
I 100% concur, bro. You know what I mean? They incentivize women to be single mothers financially through social services and other, you know what I'm saying, all kinds of things, but they didn't incentivize the family. You know what I'm saying?
Think about the love that the black man have for his woman, man. We would actually run in front of a bullet to protect our woman, man. Really, if we love her like that, we would do that, man. And knowing that she's not going to do that, we would take care of her forever if she never worked. She wouldn't do that for us, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even her job to do those things.
Hypergamy as well. You know what I'm saying?
That's not her job to do those things. I'm just trying to show her the love that we have for her, just to see, her not know how to deal with this type of man. Because when we talk about Briffle's law, I'm a single man. I should have a slew of bad women be chasing me. Actually, I do, but I don't deal with them. They chase me, and that's what I do. I keep them chasing. Hypergamy, Briffle's law, the woman has the control of the relationship. I mean, can't no relationship occur if a woman don't see a benefit in it? None of them occur. What I'm saying is that and there's a long record of the ones that are most beneficial to her is the ones by this Machiavellian nature of America that she is taught not to want. The guy who really, really likes her and really, really loves her and really want her, he's a weak man. She don't want him. She wants what she wants. She wants what's good to her and not what's good for her. And that's just what it is.
Right.
Little things of what you do. Like you're just little things.
So now I start to talk about little things and say that I just do little stuff and just to be.
Monica, you taking it to? Genesis, you taking it to?
Wait, Sugar Love, go ahead, Sugar Love here.
I didn't see most of it, but first you gotta know who. I don't know who the guys that you were talking to, because if they are scripted to talk that way, you're wasting your breath, right? If they're regular guys that you're talking to, then maybe what you're saying would have been perceived differently because you're talking to a regular guy. But if they already have a channel and that's what their program is, they stick to the script. And their job is
can you pause for 1 second? She made a great point.
Don't think right do with you. That's their script and they have to stick.
She made a great point. And here's the interesting thing. Those dudes that were attacking you, you know, while and the other sister who I had just shared, she went into talking. Now I can.
Okay, finally. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you at first. All right, so that other girl, she went into how even where there's a room of women and they don't have to, you know what I'm saying, be at childbearing years, or they don't have to be basically open or, you know what I'm saying, for a relationship. But, you know what I'm saying, she as a nurse noticed that when there are 3 women who are in the same room, if a doctor walks in, you know what I'm saying, or a man or attractive man walks into the room, all of a sudden the unity that they had, all of the good vibrations that they had before that guy walked in the room changes, because somehow biologically or psychologically, you know what I'm saying, there's always a kind of a competition for the attention of the male. And what I noticed with those guys and with a lot of guys who are in the black manosphere is that they pander more to the men. So they don't want to look like a simp. They don't want to look like a punk. They want to look like a pimp. They want to look like that. But that's not for the women. That's for the acceptance of other men, which is weird to me. So they get all hype and jump down your throat and attack you instead of, you know what I'm saying, reasoning with you. You know, and sure, you fell into that, you know, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? That's you're a woman. You have your emotions and you have your passions. But one thing that they were doing, they weren't pandering to the women, on the other women who were on the panel. They were pandering for male freaking daggone acceptance.
100%. It's a lot. Oh my God, that's exactly what they were doing. They were pandering for other men to accept them and give kudos up to like,
oh, I'm a pimp, I'm red pill, you know what I'm saying, these bitch, it's all about sex and you can't do this, but they're not really pandering to women, they're actually pandering for other males acceptance.
Men, and that's very important that y'all bring that out, because a lot of people that's like hyper masculinity, right? That's really not real masculinity. But most of us somehow, I don't know how and where this came about. Maybe this came about in the jungle somewhere. I don't know. But most men, more than, you got a lot of aspects to masculinity. Intelligence is masculine. Right? A strong, you know, physically strong is masculine. You know,
male dominance over other men too, to try to assert yourself as being, you know what I'm saying,
dominance is masculine. There's so many
is dominance masculine, because let me say this. Most animals in the wild, the female is way more aggressive than the male. You watch out for that.
Yeah, but that's not masculine though. That's all feminine.
That's all feminine. Lion, that female, whatever.
But that's not. That's all feminine though.
We primates. We're not talking about the hunt. We're talking about in the pack.
All of that's a part of feminine nature. That should not be confused with masculinity. That's why I'm making it clear, like what masculinity is, right? So. And a lot of people, that aggression, that because of dominance, right? A lot of people think that everything got to be brute, strong, fight, this and that. That's not masculine.
No. The most dominant males, even amongst, if you even look with even amongst like dogs, the alpha male dog can walk in a pack full of betas who are barking at each other, and everybody will sit down. And he ain't even got a bark. He ain't even got a bark. Walking in mad calm. There was videos on this recently with this one dog, and he wasn't even the biggest dog. He shut down a daggone Corso, a King Corso.
King Corso, wow.
He shut down a King Corso. This little scraggly looking dog just walked in. He was all barking.
You talking about Prince Charles? You talking about that dog Prince Charles? I know you're talking about Prince Charles. Prince Charles' house is hell. Hey, look though. Hey, look though. Hey, look though. I'm gonna say this. And I'm gonna fall back though. But to stay back on, keep back on track to the point. A lot of us, man, you know, and I grew out of this a long time ago. I probably grew out of this probably in my early 20s or late teens. But a lot of us learn to measure our masculinity, especially when we haven't been taught anything else, by our man, by how many women we attract. That's the best way to put it. Whether it's how many women we talk to, how many women we socialize with, how many women we sleep with, number one. That's why they call it scoring. Right. You see, we was taught that as a kid, that when you ain't got nothing else. And guess what? Men, you think that a man, we're gonna do a masculinity test right now. Who do you want to hang with? The most, Zion, the man who can attract the baddest women, or the man that can beat everybody the fuck up? I'm talking about first choice.
Man, I would rather hang out with the women.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? No, he want to hang out with the men that can attract the women.
Well, right. Let me answer that. I think it depends on the situation. So if we're out looking for women, then
we're just talking about naturally right now, Cube, just right off the rip. In this situation, off the rip.
Yeah, but we can't do that because the question has to be categorized. So if we're talking about a situation to where you need men to, get something done, then of course men. So like that question has to be categorized. It can't just be something blanket.
If I'm about to bang out,
it is categorized. It is categorized because we're talking about how men use how many women we screw, the scoring thing, and how we confuse that with the objectivity of masculinity, about how many women you could attract or how many women you sleep with or the baddest women you could get. That's not the only aspect of masculinity.
So watch this. Okay, so would you say that physical strength is masculine?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
but I know some homosexual bodybuilders that's bigger than me, and I know some guys that's physically stronger than me that's not as dominant as me.
Okay, so let's just deal with what I just said though. So if physical strength is masculine, when you on a construction site and you need to get some bricks moved, do you want all the ladies around or do you want men around?
I would want men around in that circumstance.
That's why I said that your question has to be categorized into what the purpose is of what you're doing. You can't just ask a blanket question. It has to be categorized.
It wasn't blanket. It wasn't blanket. We was talking about the subject was talking about the why men was used or talking about the category. The categorization was about why it floated. My statement floated around why us as men think it's masculine to attract women, whether it's to sleep with them, to get their phone numbers, all of that stuff.
Well, the actual subject is marriage is a business. So here's the thing, is that all these things lead up to so-called marriage, right? And so all these like factors, right, lead up to either a guy proposing to a woman or not. Now, what happened is that I was on a panel and, I had a bunch of, I was on like a crazy panel. So, and I was feeding into it, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I was getting told by the women that you see right here, like, hey, you were wrong. How you look at things are wrong, because I'm like, well, if people saying, what do you bring to the table? I'm saying, okay, well, I'm a software engineer. Like versus other than my vagina and me can cook something, I bring business logic to the table. I bring other things to the table, but people are saying that doesn't even matter. And I'm like, what the fuck does that? What the hell? Like,
because it doesn't in the grand scheme because it's the aspect, not because it's just one thing.
What if the guy you're attracted to ain't even business minded, but he loves the stew out of you, he wants you, and he makes his own money?
Well, then I'd be able to relax.
So that means you bring nothing to the table. That's why it doesn't matter. You just
so you're saying so that means I don't bring nothing to the table just because I would be able to relax off of the business bullshit that I'm like on. Because really, I'm literally.
But listen to the way how you just answered the question. He said, "What if the guy doesn't need your money or doesn't need you to work?" You said you would just relax.
No,
So,
I mean that I'd be able to relax off of. I should have expounded. My bad. Then
so
I would
answer,
not
so,
have
so
to be
answer
on
his
my
question. So
normal.
answer his question. What do you bring to the table? If there's nothing that he needs from you, what do you bring? If he doesn't need anything from you,
Well, most women run the household.
So you bring in
what the
dinner,
fuck
you
does
bring
that
in
even
food
mean?
rubs, you
Run
bring
the
in a clean
household.
house, you bring in emotional support when he come home from a hard day's work. You making sure
That's
he
the only
got
thing
his
I would
bath and
think.
every
That's a
showers and
normal
stuff
like
ready. You
female.
making sure that the money and stuff that he brings into the
Gets
house and
taken
stuff is
care of,
handled.
gets paid, all the bills get paid. That's pretty much running a whole household. Like that's a
No.
normal thing that women
I'm
do.
paying my own bills. I
Like,
own my
Yeah.
own cleaner.
Hold on.
I
Hold
pay
on. Hold on.
I pay
like
everything, so I
I
don't
run
need
my
him to do
entire
that.
household.
I
Like
So
own the
hold
if,
whole
on.
cleaner.
So
go
so
ahead.
hold on. So hold on. So if I'm the one that's funding the relationship, what do you mean when you say you're running a household, meaning you're paying bills? You ain't paying shit. Only thing you're doing is put my money into other places. You're not doing anything. Like how hard is it to pay a bill? Especially today, we could put things on auto pay. So
Okay,
like,
so
what the fuck are you
why would a
doing?
business owner need
That's
an
not
executive
real.
assistant? Why would a corporate CEO ever need an executive assistant? If he can pay his own bills, do all this stuff, do everything, why the hell does he need an administrative assistant, an executive assistant, and all these other people like running the business? Because
Right.
I
So let
still
me
believe
answer
that
that. So hold
marriage
on.
is
Let
a
me answer
business.
that. Hold on. Let me
I
answer
still
that. Let me
believe that
answer
a
that.
household running a household is a business.
Well,
So
let me
I'm
answer
still
that.
coming from my business acumen aspect of that this is a business we're running, right? So therefore, if you're out doing the work and I'm out running and I'm here running the household, then I'm like the executive assistant. I'm the
No, you're not.
whatever. I'm the fluffer. I'm all that.
No, you're
So
not. So let me answer your question. Part of the problem is that you think that marriage is a business when marriage is not a business. It's not. You don't have
it
CFO,
is
CEO,
though.
CI. No, sister, it's not. Maybe modern day that you guys want to try to pigeonhole it into being a business, but it's not a business. There's nothing about a marriage that you can say that it's a business.
100%
Nothing.
a
Okay,
business. You
okay,
sign
okay, okay,
a contract.
okay.
When it's a marriage
No,
contract, that's a
just
business.
because. Okay, but listen, I can have a contract that somebody like. Come on, just
The
slow
moment
down
you
for a
sign a
second.
contract for
So
something, it's no
what's the name of
longer
that tax
just
form y'all
love.
gotta pay every year?
Business. Once you sign a contract with someone and say these are the things of the contract, it's no longer about emotions, feeling, anything else other than that. It's business from that
I
point.
would
No,
rather
it's
use the
not.
term covenant.
But
That takes
America,
profane and makes it
If
take
you make a
but
a
covenant because you
marriage is
sign
a
a
covenant.
contract,
America
You
makes
could
it
say,
very business
hold on,
oriented
hold on,
every
y'all.
year.
Let me just make my interjection real quick. Hey, Queen.
Hey.
How you doing, love? So a covenant is similar to a contract, but however, a covenant is more sacred. It has to do with oaths. It has to do with a promise of some sort of internal oath and bonding ritual. It's ritualistic. It's similar to a contract, but it's not as profane. It's more sacred. So I would say that, and this is why I objected to the sense that, oh, you know what I'm saying, well, love has nothing. What's love got to do? No, love has everything to do,
I'm
because
saying
a contract can be breached and broken at any point in time, but a
I'm saying
covenant, it comes with a little bit, hold on, it comes, let me put my period on, it comes with a little bit more than just some profane, well, you know what I'm saying, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what you're gonna do, and this is what we sign in this contract, and upon the breach of this contract, you know what I'm saying, contract is broken and whatever, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, sure, the marriage system now looks more like a contract, but marriage was a covenant, and that's slightly different. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
let's see what Google got to say about it. While marriage is not inherently a business, it does share some characteristics with business
right.
regarding legal financial aspects. Like a business, marriage involves a legal contract, i.e. marriage license, joint decision making, and financial management.
Right.
Unlike a
Right.
business, marriage also involves deep emotional and personal commitments.
Now stop
So
right there. Stop right
Your
there.
marriage
Stop.
your
okay, all
marriage
right.
Hold
license
on,
is
really
a
quick.
contract.
So hold
hold on.
on, really quick.
What's that? What's that? Let me. I promise I'll be quick. Your marriage license is a contract, and that contract is with the United States government, who officiates these licenses. And just like any other business corporation, at the end of the year, you have to label. When you're married, you the way that you file is head of household, this, that, and the third.
No, you have to married. If you're married, it has to be married, joint filing versus head of household. So therefore,
you're
when you
just further
file that, all the
substantiating.
things that you
You're
put
just further
together in a business,
substantiating that it's a business.
that's a business.
All right, so check this out. Pull that back up so I can show you the error of your ways, sister. All right, so when you read this, it says, while marriage is not inherently a business, it does share some characteristics. So now that's a very important word right there. So now, do you have eyes?
What kind of question is that?
Of course, I have eyes.
Okay. Do you have legs?
Yes.
Do you have a nose?
Yes.
So you shared a lot of characteristics with a dog, but you aren't the dog, are you?
That's rude as hell.
Right.
Okay, what you want me to say? A cow? That's not rude.
Use something a little. Come on, man.
But I mean, it's okay. I get
I'm
his
not
point.
being rude.
I get his point. I get his point.
Okay, well, I can say a cow. I can say a cow.
I get his point too, but you know,
I can say a
everybody.
fish. No, I can say a fish. I can say fish. Okay, do you have lungs? Do you have a heart like a fish? I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was just bringing something out because you guys were talking about Prince Charles, the dog, which I did see that video and it was kind of on my mind. So I wasn't aiming to be disrespectful. So when you use that word characteristics, yes, it may have, just because something has characteristics and it shares characteristics with something else, doesn't mean that that's what it is. That's why I was saying earlier that
you mean like monkeys?
That's why I was saying earlier. That's why I was saying earlier that no, marriage is not a business, sister. That's what I was trying to say, and I'm so glad that you pulled that up. Hold on. Last thing. Now you have to be honest enough to say that no, marriage is not a business. Can you say that? And for the sake of honesty,
it's not a business.
There's no but. There's no but.
Characteristics of a business.
No, there is no but.
Of a business.
It's not a marriage.
Share characteristics of a business.
It's not a business.
Let it. Don't filibuster. So let it fly, and then you respond respectfully. We can turn down a little bit of the testosterone a little bit, y'all. There's 3 men on the panel. There's a whole lot of testosterone and alpha male dominance going on already.
Anybody married?
That's what I said in the beginning. I said I'm divorced, so I'm the last person to talk.
I'm divorced. So
Bobby was here, but
I've been there.
He's doing stuff with the city council, and he most definitely said it was a business. He said marriage was he said marriage is a business, and now he's been married like about 3 or 4 times. You know what I'm saying?
Because he turned it into a business because he's been married so many times. That's why it's a business. Because he treated it like one. If he one person that's been married 3 or 4 times, he treated it like it was a business. But the average person like me that treated a marriage like you were supposed to treat it for 31 years and at 50 years old right now, if that's how he interpreted from his marriages, then yes, he can interpret it as a business. But the average person that's been
married 38 years.
The average, no, but 38 years, we were talking about how many times.
Right. Okay.
So he had 3 failed businesses?
I'm going off how many times, not the amount of years. So if he's been married 3, 4, 5 times, maybe in his mind, he's treating it as a form of a business because he's just getting married for the term of marriage. Or is he got prenup? So it depends on how you significating it.
No, I think that he probably, I think that based on what he said is that he married for love, he married for different reasons, and then now he runs this thing and understands it as a business, and it's lasted the longest.
That's what that word inherently comes in.
I think that's
what that word inherently comes in.
Business is not a negative thing. A business is not negative.
Yeah, that's what that word is inherently like a business. You know, I mean, because you start off with this thing with love, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I mean, I'm gonna say day. At the end of the year, you will have to account for the business of that relationship.
Yeah, accounting and everything, you know,
as a marriage. So you will. You have a house at least once a year.
Yeah, I disagree.
How much did you
Sister,
spend this year? All that stuff. So it is a whether
One person got to
maybe in other countries it's not a business, but in America it's a business because
no, it's not, sister. Listen, you just said that it wasn't. Now you're back to saying that it is again. You see, the problem is you don't want to accept the truth. So please, for you, stop saying that it's a business because you just read it. I just gave you an example to show you how it isn't, and you keep saying it, sister. You got to stop saying that. It's not a business.
Can I just go ahead, sis Queen?
No, go ahead. I'll wait.
Okay, so here's the difference, right? In a business, you know what I'm saying? The one side of the business breaks down. Like if I'm married to somebody and I'm treating it like a business, say she gets sick, now business wise, it's a liability, right? So that means that I can just, you know what I'm saying, go and get me a new, you know what I'm saying, business partner. I start breaking down, right? I start getting old. I put all my work in. Now
she had some good insurance on her.
Hold on. So now I'm starting to break down. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what I'm saying? I got to get me a new bit. She has to get her new business partner. I don't think that that's how we should look at it. I think that that's yeah. I don't think that's.
You can ask me as a married person.
Hey, I tell you what.
Go ahead, Queen.
But what is a man's chances of getting married if he don't have no business, if he don't have no insurance, if he's not able to include her into his business? What type of relationship is a man gonna have?
But the business is the marriage. That's the thing. Is that
there's one married person on the panel. No, Sister Queen was about to say something.
Yeah, go ahead, Queen. Go ahead. Because I'm like, what?
She's the most qualified here.
Yeah, I am married, and I can say this. I mean, if you're in your mind looking at it as a business, then that's how you're looking at it. Because at the end of the day, you start off and it's about love. You start off, it depends on how you start off in your marriage. And to start off in my marriage back in the 90s at 50 years old, I started off my marriage as a marriage. I didn't even have the insight or the thought of even considering it as a business, because it wasn't a business. Not when you're doing womanly things like paying bills, taking care of kids, taking care of house, putting food on the table, pleasing the man, getting pleased back. All that type of stuff comes in a marriage. And when you're going through those type of things, you're not looking at it as business in those moments. The problem comes in on the legal side of it. I never legalized my marriage as being a business. No, not at all. But I can tell you, when you start feeling like you're in the business, honestly, is when that person on the inside, probably feeling as though they're out of love and there's nothing else that they can do in a relationship, or there's no other reason why they're together other than paying the bills, other than making sure that the mortgage is paid, other than making sure that there's food on the table for the children. Then in a sense, at that moment, you may start feeling internally like it's a business, because I started feeling like that at some point. Like, damn, the only thing I'm really getting out of it is I make sure the bills paid, we make sure the kids are taken care of, we make sure that dinner's on the table. But the other part of the romantic part, what do you put in right there? I never would have put the word business in there. But if you're a person that's thinking along that line, you can kind of say it's business, because now it goes into the bills, it goes into the business part of it. But technically on the table, I don't see it as a business. Not for me.
May I say something
you,
real quick?
I appreciate you for being honest. I appreciate that.
Real quick. When I was married before too, right? When I was married, I didn't look at it as a business. I'm looking at it now as looking at the past, as the history, you know, and I'm speaking from experience, right?
Yeah.
But when I was married, oh no, I didn't look at it as a business. I looked at it as love, and it ended in divorce.
That's right.
Okay, so let's do this then. Sister DJ, can you please look up the word business and share that with us really quick? Because what happens is we get too caught up in the colloquial usage and we don't actually look at the words that we're using. So we have to. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, I don't even know why it's a word looked up other than marriage. Because if you start considering, even as a prenup, some people feel like once you sign prenups, you turning it into a business. But some people sign prenups because they feel like they done put time in and hard work, and they just want to make sure they secured on their end. But that don't mean they not in love.
So hold on. So take out the definition of word business and just type in business. Take out definition of the word. We could use that too if you like, but all right. So a business is an organization or enterprising entity engaged in commercial, industrial, or professional activities. So none of that has anything to do with marriage whatsoever. Whatsoever. What happens is, like I say, we're so used to, like when a person say, "Man, get out my business." We're so used to using the colloquial word to try to define what a business actually is. But when we look at the definition of what a business is, marriage is not that. There's no trade, there's no commerce going on whatsoever. So we have to stop saying that marriage is a business. It is not. Just because you have a
So
contract.
whatever happened when if say what about the people that own farms, right? And you have kids that you teach to like raise work on the farm, and so you have land. So right now you're talking from a place of apartment living, house living. What about people that actually live off the land, and their kids are the ones that have to till the land and this, that, the other, and make money off the land in that household? You know,
Okay,
you teach your kids
so
to
I see
run
what
the
you're trying
land.
to confuse. I see what you're confusing, because what you're alluding to is a family business, right? So where you would teach your children and things like that. Now, can I have a family business with me and my brother?
Okay. How about this one? Here goes. I feel what Genesis is saying. I'm gonna bring this more closer to home. I was the business. And Genesis, you from Detroit. Are you familiar with the East Side Cheddar Boys from Detroit?
Yes.
You know, I'm one of the founders of that, right? Was
Yeah,
that
that was
not
our whole
was that
organization.
not huge here in Detroit or not?
It was huge.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, when I talked about how I was going to be doing a movie and stuff on Sarnetta, and they laughed and mocked it, I'll be doing another one tomorrow, right? When I was married, and I'm married for love, right? I was the business. I own my own record company and everything, right?
And
I
then you
didn't
have
marry,
your family working for your
I
business,
didn't
right?
marry for business, right? But I was the business. There was a group here called 7 Mile. My man Squeak that was signed to my label. You dig what I'm saying? All my contracts and everything. He messed around and got a deal with Mariah Carey. Messed around and blew up. During this time, there were some things that was taking place, and I was in the middle of a damn divorce. You hear what I'm saying? And my business, my wife was a part of that. She was in it. She knew everything. She had stuff, my contracts and stuff. I couldn't even get a hold to it because she had parts of my stuff, and I couldn't get a hold to stuff of my stuff. So by me not looking at it as a business, I missed out on millions of dollars. Genesis will tell you. My people here, I'm Thomas Whitfield's nephew, blood. My name was a business and I'm still a business. And I'm saying that any woman that marries me as a business. And she comes into my business. See, this is what I understand now. I didn't understand that then.
And let me tell you how I understand it. My child's father is by 10 of Slum Village, right?
Yeah.
So when he passed away, if I would have married him, listen, right now I'm going through all type of probate, this state, blah, blah, bait, whatever.
I don't know about you, but I know Fat Cat.
Yeah, I know Fat Cat, all those guys. But I'm trying to tell you is that when you are in a marriage and people are really doing it, like really making it, not just in poverty, and you get above poverty and start to like really make moves, marriage is a business straight up. Because when you get married, like do you know how quick that you know how quick and easy if something happened to you, what happens to all your assets? People, listen. Let me give you an example. My grandma, right?
You married, DJ? You've been married before?
I've never been married. I wish I would have got married.
So
trust
when
me.
you go to marry someone, you automatically looking at business when you see a man?
No, I'm not.
So, I'm just asking you. So if you're not automatically looking at business when you get with a man, see one thing that happens.
No, it's a combination. It's not that I'm automatically just like first business. First is attraction, then I'm like looking at at what
point in a relationship. I mean, it'll be
there's
kind
a
of
combination of everything because I have assets, If I marry somebody, then
but your assets don't come
no,
along
listen,
with
no,
marriage once you
no,
get married.
listen,
That's
no.
before. That's not community property, so you can't include that. That would not be considered community property if you had that before you were married. So that
right.
So
that's what I was just about to say.
Off the table.
If
So
no, that's why they have prenups, because I can have all these. Okay, I have 2 houses right now, right? I marry somebody, my houses can go to that person I'm married to.
That's community. If that's not community property, it is not included. I'm gonna say this. Okay. Let's look at what state you're referring to. Because we're not gonna, you can't put that on the table with everybody, because that's honestly not true. When you come into the marriage and you brought it into the marriage, technically that's yours. It's what's established during the marriage what determines community property or not.
That's what you get half of.
Right. So I was asking you, because it's hard to ask you something like that if you've never been married before, because I wanted to know, you've met someone, been in love with someone, and what was on the table with you during that commencing was business, or was it relationship, love, feeling, and what we're going to do to see how we can make it and build the bond? Because I don't think that you're going
initially been in the love phase of things, and I got to see how much, like, I was not married, but common law, pretty much we were together for like what, 3-4 years, right?
That's not common law. That's not common law. Common law is like 10-15 years, girl. Stop.
Right.
Well, no, it depends on the state. Depends on the state. So if you've been with the person to start, okay. So here's the deal. What happened
Google
is
it.
that
Google it. Google it.
Okay.
Google it. Common law. Google it. Google it. You got to let us know. What
I've never heard of common law being 3 or 4 years. It's always a minimum of 10 to 15 years.
That is if common law is even legal in your state.
That's true too. It may not even be legal in your state. That's true.
So and let me say, Google that.
And let me say this: there's been so many cases. The most recent is Israel Adesanya, MMA fighter, who he was with this woman, and for about 1.5 years or so, they broke up. She took him to court to get like $50 million from the dude because she. No. She was just a girlfriend. They were just in a relationship. But she said that. But this is add to your point. But what she was trying to say is, I helped him so much in his career, but he had a 10-year career before she even came around. So what the judge said, no, you get nothing, zero. She has to now pay him for cover his court costs. You see what I'm saying? By her trying to sue him and get
that you got to pay him.
Right. So this is what it says in Texas. I live in Texas, right?
Right.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
No. Where was the relationship at? You probably in Texas.
It was in Michigan. So Michigan does not thing common law. But
okay, so your whole conversation is dead.
Right.
Then.
So right.
Your whole conversation is dead.
The state
however, I would say this is that when it really comes down to it, is that if I would have been married to Batim when he passed away, everything he had would have went to me as a wife, and then had to be trickled down into the kids. That's another thing that happened. So here's the thing: it's a business.
Now,
how about this?
Hold on. Because you're trying to move somewhere else. Why are you reading Texas when you were dealing with a dude in Michigan? You have to go to the Michigan laws, because once you go to the Michigan
common
laws,
law does not exist in
Michigan. It don't exist here.
Okay, so you would get nothing, sister, and that's her point. Is that you would get nothing?
But she said if she would have married him, though, that's what she's stating, right?
I didn't.
Yeah, but if she would. But even if she would have married him, if she came in with nothing, she leave with nothing. If she established
exactly,
if I would have married him, it would be different. Like if I would have married
him, I don't know about the nothing part, right?
No, you would only get that if he died. That's it. If he died, you would get it.
Well, he died,
but you didn't marry him, though.
Thank you.
No, but if I married him and he died, listen,
I'm a divorce dude. I'm a divorced dude, and my wife has died, right? And I thought that, and I messed up because my wife was a nurse. She was a DON. This woman made good money, like $400 a day being a